In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a step-by-step guide on how to choose the best cybersecurity program for you. And there's only a few steps. It looks very overwhelming, but I promise you it's actually really not. I'm going to walk you through the entire phase of it. But the first thing that you want to go ahead and do before you even get to this is subscribe if you haven't already, because we have tons of good resources for you. And definitely go ahead, schedule a call. If you're not ready to schedule a call, go ahead and check out our online school community. We have other like-minded individuals such as yourself that's looking to make this career transition as well. But you want to go ahead and start off this career transition by thinking this. What are your career goals? There are a lot of positions that you can go ahead and take on your first cybersecurity role. There is a lot of overlap between these different positions and titles, but largely the certifications that you would need to get, largely I would say the same with a little bit of differentiation. So definitely watch my other video on the typical cybersecurity titles and certifications and salaries for your first cybersecurity role. But define your career goal. And this is actually, honestly speaking, the best way to solve this problem is to go ahead and schedule a call and actually ask a professional, what are all these different positions and what do you think is the right position for me? The second thing that you want to go ahead and do is also give whoever it is that you're scheduling a call with, whether it be us or anybody else, what skills and knowledge are you coming in with? There's a lot of people that want to make a transition into cybersecurity. There's 750,000 plus openings, and everybody that we do a call with, and I'm sure the other programs probably experience the same thing, has varying different degrees of knowledge in the space, because you may have watched, it could be range from like watching some YouTube videos to taking a very small scale class on like a Udemy or like a Coursera, or some extensions that you maybe found like on a Skillshare. But what skills do you have or don't have already? And talk about your overall experience. What are some of the things that you liked and what are some of the things that you don't like so far? But that you actually have to go ahead and have ready, and actually be able to talk about that with somebody, because some of you kind of have a somewhat of a background. Some of you are completely coming in from scratch. Either or is fine, but in order for the program to be successful with you, if it's a good program, they have to know who it is that they're working with and where are your weaknesses. What do you feel like you're going to need the most help in? And that we can only really know because everybody has a different timeline too. You know, what has been some of your challenges? What has taken you a little bit longer time to go ahead and learn? Which kind of brings me to segue to point number 3. What's your learning preference? What is your learning style? Everybody has a different learning style, and all these different programs exist for a reason, right? You need somebody that's actually going to be able to complement how it is that you digest information, because ultimately, all the skills and all the experience in the portfolio doesn't matter if you cannot communicate that on an interview. So in order for you to be able to do so effectively, you have to let whoever it is that you're speaking with know, what do you think are going to be your biggest challenges? Is it learning the skills? Is it getting those interviews? Is it how you're going to perform on those interviews? And ultimately, what do you feel like you need help with that's going to make you successful? So many people schedule calls with programs, and the first question that they usually ask is, what does your program have to offer? You should be coming into those calls actually, this is what I think I'm going to need help with the most. I know if I get those interviews, I'm pretty good at interviewing. I'm pretty good about talking about my background, but I don't have the skills and I don't have the technical know-how, but I want to go ahead and make a transition into cybersecurity. How do I do that? Or I've been learning a lot of skills and I've been, taking on a lot of different these online classes, and I just don't know how that translates on the job. I don't have that much hands-on experience because the smaller scale programs, they don't offer really assignments where somebody can give you feedback. Like, you're probably not going to get that from like, a $20 Udemy course, right? You want to know, like, I've already taken like, 10, 15 courses already, but I don't know how that translates into the real world. That's totally fine. Or what you think is going to give you the most problem is, what does it take to get those interviews in the first place? Instead of asking, of course, knowing what the program has to offer is important, but you should also come in here letting whoever it is that you're talking to, when you're doing your research, and you should go ahead and make a few calls around, like, what do you feel, and you know yourself the best, what do you feel is going to give you the biggest challenges in making this transition? You need to come in here with these questions already. Determine, on top of that, like, research the different program types. There's a lot of different programs. This can seem very overwhelming, but there's like all these different certifications. Certified ethical hacker. Do I need that? Do I not need that? Really depends on which job you want to go ahead and take on. Also, some of these certificates, you can go ahead and do it in tandem. You want to go ahead and research which programs are going to give you the certifications that's going to give you the most bang for your buck, right? Next off is you want to evaluate the program quality. What is it that this program is going to do to ultimately help you get the job, help you equip the skills? A lot of programs, I mean, if you do the work largely, it's also how much you put into it too. But what is their philosophy in helping you get the job? Do they gamify the job hunting process? How much support do they offer you on the back end? Because sometimes there are programs that are very successful in helping people make that transition, but like the process that people have to go through to be able to land that job is so painful. Like you also want to go ahead and consider like, okay, you have a high placement rate, but what do you do to obtain that placement rate, right? You also want to go ahead and consider that. Cost and financial aid. This is where I think a lot of people get it wrong, and this is actually where you don't know what it is that you don't know. It's very normal for people to misconstrue, like, I should just get the most expensive program, and the most expensive programs should be the best program out there. That's not exactly the truth. There are other programs, and it really depends, again, like, what's the role that you're trying to transition to? What do you think you're going to need help with the most? And also, on top of all of those different things, like, you really need to consider how are they going to support you through the job hunting process? Because just because the program's the most expensive program doesn't necessarily mean it's the most effective. You also want to go ahead and consider, like, what are their reviews, outcomes? Do they have a network? How much information sessions can you go out there and attend? Like, how much free information? You want to go ahead and do your due diligence, and this is why we have an online school community to show you what resources we will be providing for you, so on and so forth. And then ultimately make a decision. But either way, your journey really begins with scheduling a call, and one of many. I recommend that if you haven't scheduled calls yet, go ahead and start with us. We would love to go ahead and talk to you. The link is in the description for you to go ahead and book a time to speak with us. Look forward to speaking with you soon.